The reactions to the official Democratic ticket being set are pouring in tonight. Senator Bernie Sanders called Governor Walz a great asset. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she called him an excellent decision. Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill, says the ticket is a new hope. And former Minnesota Senator Al Franken tweeting a picture of himself with Walz, writing that he is, quote, a great choice with an impressive record in Minnesota, and he's not weird. Joining the conversation is Al Franken himself. Senator, thanks for joining us. So what do you make of this decision? I mean, what do you make of the critique that this is doubling down on the left when really what Vice President Harris needs to be doing is reaching out to the political center of the country?
Well, I think some of the things that have been described as left are really just common sense things. For example, free breakfast and lunch for kids at school. That's just making sure that kids have enough nutrition to learn. That seems pretty common sense to me. Requiring that we get to a zero carbon footprint in electric utilities in 2040. If you believe that the Earth is warming, which I think we witness pretty much all the time, then that is just a common sense thing to do.
What do you make of the comparison or the contrast with J.D. Vance? I want to play a little bit from what Walz had to say about his new opponent on the other side today during his speech.
If Shapiro were not Jewish, would he have been chosen?
Yes. I can say that unequivocally without any data.
The Democrat Party has a massive anti-Semitism problem. That is why they did not pick Josh Shapiro.
The pro-Hamas radical left of the Democrat Party said, no, you're not allowed to be Jewish. And on the Democrat ticket, if Josh Shapiro's name were Josh Smith, he'd be the VP nominee or named right now.
That is not the bite that I was going to play for you, but since it's
That's
there.
That's hilarious, though. I enjoyed it.
Let's talk about it.
Who was that? Fox?
Let's talk about that, because that was a mashup of a lot of Fox commentators, but Republican lawmakers basically saying that the reason that we're talking about Tim Walz and not Josh Shapiro is because Josh Shapiro is Jewish. Do you think that there's any truth to that at all?
None. You know, you had three guys were the finalists, Mark Kelly and Josh Shapiro and Tim Walz, and you had to pick one of them. You couldn't have two running mates. And if you had, you know, it doesn't make any sense to me that that is the conclusion you come to.
Lee Zeldin is also here. He's got a question for you as well.
Hey, Senator, great to see you.
Sure.
Josh Shapiro and Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, they all gave what was about an hour and a half worth of remarks. There was no mention of Israel. There was no mention of anti-Semitism. I don't think that was by accident. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think they were talking to the issues that they think play most strongly. That's what you usually do in speeches like this. They weren't covering every issue around, like a State of the Union address or something. So I think that just made sense to me. Those are divisive issues to some degree, and you know, they're going with their strengths.
Senator, so what do you think the debate would look like between J.D. Vance and Tim Walz? I should note, Tim Walz, according to our reporting, said himself he is not a great debater. So there's that. But you've got two guys who are claiming to have a claim on what it really means to be from the Midwest. What's the debate going to look like?
Well, okay, if you look at the two guys and how Midwest they are, Tim grew up in Nebraska, then as an adult moved to Mankato, Minnesota, and became a high school teacher. He had joined the National Guard first, and was in the National Guard for 24 years or something. Was the highest ranking enlisted officer in the history of the Congress. Was a football coach, then ran for the House, and then ran for governor. Let's see, the other guy, Vance, he joined, I think he was in the military.
He was, yeah.
Good for him. Yeah, and then he went to, I think, not sure which order he went to the military when he went to college, but then he went to Yale Law School. And then at Yale Law School, Peter Thiel found him and started him as kind of a venture capitalist in San Francisco. And he wrote a book, a very good book about hillbilly elegy, which ultimately kind of, I think, sold out his culture that he grew up in, but basically moved to San Francisco and calls Walz a San Francisco liberal, where Walz has never been. I'm sure he's been to San Francisco, but he's never lived there. So I like the matchup in terms of who seems genuine and who doesn't. This, the story, the Walz story, was pretty cool today, I thought.
Van Jones is here as well. Van.
I wonder how you see this going forward. Now, people from your part of the world don't usually get on the national stage. You are probably the most famous person from your part of the world. Any advice for Walz going forward? Should he be more visible, less visible? How should he play it?
Oh, I think he's going to be very visible. And I think that's a good thing. I think that you saw him today. I think that he came off as very...
he had jokes.
What he presented was very popular.
He had jokes almost as good as your jokes. Were you jealous? Did you feel like he was stepping on your...
No, I was very proud of him. It was how the crime rate has gone up during Trump, and not even counting the crimes he committed.
Yeah, that was good.
I thought that was a good joke.
So speaking of jokes, this is the most important question of the night. Who should play Tim Walz on SNL? Vanity Fair put your name on the list, by the way,
Please
Senator. So you're up there.
I could do the accent.
There is a striking resemblance to Steve Martin, I have to say. What do you think?
Steve would be a possibility. Steve is a little on the slender side.
Would you do
not
it?
That Tim. Well, I'm a little on the slender side too. I heard this in the lead-in to this segment, and I went, well, thanks a lot. I have to figure this out. And Tim, again, is not even portly. He's not anywhere near. But Farley would have done him great.
Oh, yeah, that's true. All right, what about J.D. Vance? Who should play Vance?
Oh, some jerk. Somebody people don't like.
We'll come back to you on that. Get some names out of you for that one. All right, former Senator. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Bill Hader.
Okay, all right, we got it.
Not right.
Former Senator Al Franken. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll have you back on the show. You can do your Tim Walz impression right here on Newsnight. You can debut it here for us. Thank you.
Well, Tim doesn't have a pure Minnesota accent, you know. That's Nebraska. That's Nebraska.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Senator. Appreciate it.